We have calls lined up for you. Our first one is from Matt. Matt's in Falls Church, Virginia, Democrats line. You're on with our guest. Go ahead with your question or comment.
So I have a quick question and a longer question. My quick question for the guest is, you said you get your funding from contributors. How many of your contributors are Trump donors?
I have no idea.
Well, just take a guess. Give me an estimate in your mind.
I have no idea.
I think that is completely and utterly false. I think you can guess it's probably 100% of your donors. You are a right-wing organization, and most of your donors are extremely rich Trump donors. You can look it up on Open Secrets, and you're probably going to find many of your donors are large Trump donors who would not fund you if you went against Trump.
Okay. What's the second question, Matt?
My second question is, you say this is a political investigation of Donald Trump. Is the investigation of Hunter Biden a political investigation being pushed by Republicans?
That's Matt in Virginia.
It's not a political investigation. There's frankly no real investigation of Hunter Biden. He's been protected for the last several years by the Justice Department and the FBI. I think the test to see whether something is right or wrong or suspicious or not for these types of investigations is that, is the person being targeted with a novel application of the law? Is it the first time the law is being applied in a particular way to the target? And that's happened repeatedly with President Trump. On the other hand, with Hunter Biden, there's kind of plain evidence of racketeering, tax issues, bribery, other things like that. And there's little to no movement, investigatory-wise, by the Justice Department.
You would even put the Weaponization Committee into that mix as well?
Well, I mean, they're investigating the conduct of the Justice Department and the FBI in abusing American citizens. So that seems to be kind of right up the alley as to what Congress needs to be doing. I mean, the big question is, why hasn't a special counsel been appointed for Hunter Biden, especially when you compare and contrast the appointment of Mueller? How is it the president's son can be investigated by the Justice Department outside the special counsel regulations that we were told repeatedly were sacrosanct in terms of maintaining independence of the investigator when it became to Trump, but the rules changed with Biden. And I think, I kind of jokingly say this, Pedro, I don't think there's a double standard. There's a single standard when it comes to the Justice Department's approach on these issues. Protect Democrats, protect friendlies, and target Trump and others they consider to be on the wrong side of the political aisle. And it's consistent, unfortunately, over the last few years. And in my view, it's irredeemably compromised both the Justice Department and the FBI.
Atlanta, Georgia, Democrats line. Go ahead. Good morning.
Like Pedro, Donald Trump called. I want to say this slow for your lying guest there. Donald Trump called.
What am I lying about, sir? What did I lie about?
Please don't interrupt me.
We'll let him make a statement. Then
please don't interrupt me, sir.
Caller, go ahead, please.
Okay, Donald Trump called for the suspension of the Constitution. There's only one person in America that has called for the arrest of their political enemies, and it wasn't a Democrat. This, Pedro, don't insult us by having these lies come on, just like Fox News. I'm not making this up. Fox News is lies. This is one of the Fox News lies. Do not let the Fox News lies infiltrate this precious show. I don't mind right-wingers because they're Trump supporters. Pedro.
Caller, we've invited the guests we've invited. Do you want to ask him a question before you go?
Yes, and because also, Pedro, we are not stupid.
Well, don't talk to me. Talk to the guest. Do you have a question or comment for our guest, please?
Hey, Pedro, I will, and like I said, I will get off. Okay, Fox. Okay, don't insult us, Pedro. By and like I said, just because Fox News viewers are stupid, everybody's not.
Okay, caller, we're going to leave it there. Anything from that you want to respond to?
If you're going to call me a liar, I'm not going to respond to you other than to say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Democrats line. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in paralegal studies, and I was listening on the phone. You made an important. You brought up an important word that would be evidence. Now, as I see it, these cases are in the grand jury right now, and they're gathering the evidence. The DOJ is gathering evidence, and you just said earlier there is no evidence. You don't know what the evidence is, sir, and it's really quite offensive the way you denigrate our legal system that I dedicated a career of studying. I find this you haven't seen any evidence. And Trump, yes, he's a former president, but he's a private citizen, and I want all politicians to be held accountable. Biden, Trump, any of them, and so should you. Thank you.
Well, there's a concern that the grand jury isn't actually seeing all the relevant evidence. Mr. Costello, Cohen's former attorney, suggested that there's a lot of material that is exculpatory for President Trump that had been withheld from, or he's concerned that had been withheld from the grand jury. Look, the grand jury sees what Alvin Bragg wants the grand jury to see. Alvin Bragg is an anti-Trump activist. As I said, he's an elected official in New York within a Democratic Party in New York that is virulently anti-Trump. He's a long history of just pursuing President Trump. And I tell you, the leftists can be all excited about trying to jail President Trump, but it's just so harmful to the country, and I just wish they'd step back.
What makes DA Trump an activist against the former president?
He targeted, for instance, he targeted under, when he was in the New York Attorney General's office, he targeted Trump's foundation on, as I said, similarly weak charges of, paying for a painting. I forget what the details were, while ignoring all the allegations against Hillary Clinton and her foundation. And, I just see this, this fanatic pursuit of President Trump within the law enforcement establishment of New York, between Letitia James, who has been pressuring him also. Former attorneys from his office were pressuring him as well. And the idea that a politician isn't making a political decision here, I think just is a naive analysis.
But aside from the comparisons to Hillary Clinton, are these not legal actions and should be treated as such rather than political moves?
No.
Why not?
Because President Trump is running for president. He's a former president. These are novel applications of the law, and it's up to the district attorney to explain to the public why he's, quote, harassing the president and blowing up the nation in terms of our political system and a presidential campaign. I mean, is the new rule going to be that state attorney generals and district attorneys can now investigate presidents and former presidents and try to jail them on pretextual charges, as I say, novel applications of the law? No one looking at this case can say there's never been anything like it before. And that should give us all pause.
Our guest, Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch.